Hi, I posted a video a couple of weeks ago about these 3D printed custom scales bought from Etsy from seller DBE 3D Print Shop. I'll put a link to the page for these in the description below. And these are just fantastic, really high quality. Fit and finish is amazing, and they're just brilliant. They add a ton of utility to any 58mm Swiss Army knife. You get a slot for tweezers on one side, and on the other side you get a slot for the pen insert slider mechanism. Not included with these scales, but you can buy them from Etsy or eBay. You also get a slot on the side for a toothpick or tweezers, I guess, and a little hole in there to carry a Victorinox pin. So if you buy a set of these from DBE 3D Print Shop, then you get a Mega Manager. I originally bought 2 sets, took a bit of a punt on them, and I liked them so much that I bought another 2 sets off him because they just increase the utility of any 58mm model massively, I think, and they're well worth it and they're really well made. So I just wanted to do this update video, having a look at some, trying to answer some of the questions I've received on the other video I did about these, but they're great. So yeah, I've got no association with DBE 3D Print Shop. I'm just more than happy to promote these and try and spread the word because they're fantastic. And I especially bought a Midnight Manager from Heine Haynes in the UK, which was only 24 quid, which is cheaper than you can buy a Rambler for. So this is brand new and super shiny, looks beautiful in the box, but I want to attach a set of these scales to it because the utility that they provide is fantastic. So the Midnight Manager does have the slot with the pen scale in it, which is great. I find that incredibly useful. The other side has got the LED light in it, which I find not so useful. My phone has a better light than this does, and I also do carry a much better torch with me every day as well, so I don't need that scale. So let's get these off. Let's just get the pen out of there, and I'm gonna need this slider as well for the new scales. So I'm gonna need the pen slider insert. Again, these look absolutely immaculate, like the last 2 sets of scales I bought from him. Very clean, very tidy. Perfect cutouts, perfect fit. So there's the pen as well. I've just taken out of the Midnight Manager I bought from Heine. Get that in there. Good action on that slider. Nice new pin in there. Let's just see if this pinhole is as good as the ones in my other scales from this guy. Yeah, fits perfectly, held securely. Wonderful. They all fit perfectly, as did the last lot. Great stuff. All held really securely. Those are fantastic. What a great product. So a few people had asked whether the tweezers or toothpick from the 91mm models could fit inside these 58mm scales. These are designed for the 58mm scale tools. Tweezers in that side and toothpick in this side. And some people don't like the way that bit is squared off, so asked whether the toothpick from the 91mm Swiss Army knives would fit because that's kind of got that rounded off angle and hence might look a bit neater. The 91mm tweezers have the angle on the wrong side, so they don't work, so the only option would be for the toothpick, which angles down in the right direction. So the 58mm toothpick does just slide into there perfectly, and it's held really securely. This bit being squared off does not bother me personally in the slightest, and I guess if you were really bothered you could file a bit down there to get that angle. The 91mm toothpick would need trimming down because it's a tiny bit long and it's a little tiny bit wide. I didn't know there was any difference there. Strange, but it doesn't fit, and I don't want to force it in there because it doesn't bother me having the smaller toothpick in that side. So this would fit if you took a knife to it and just trimmed it down, and then you could have that bit sitting angled if you were that bothered about it. But yeah, you just have to trim it down with a knife or something, and then it would fit. Not that difficult to do. I might try it, but yeah, it doesn't bother me. And I'm happy to just have that slotted in there like that. So yeah, I made 3 kind of Mega Managers. Also stuck a set onto a jet setter. So for places where a knife blade isn't allowed, you've still got a pair of scissors. The wonderful combo tool there with a great Phillips bottle opener, all that jazz. Tweezers, toothpick, pen, and a pin. But yeah, I had a few folks asking, well, these look a bit bulkier than a normal, say, Manager. So let's just have a look at that. Here's a really old Manager. Oh, look at that old beauty. So yeah, let's just compare the width. I think you get a bit of an illusion that these might be chunkier, maybe. They're not quite as rounded, I don't know, but let's just offer them up together there. And you can see that they're pretty much the same width. There's maybe a fraction of a millimetre more width on the 3D printed scales there, but geez, you're not really going to notice that, are you? I don't think. So for clarity and accuracy, let's just measure them. Manager is 11.5 millimetres wide. Manager with these scales, 11.6 millimetres wide. So yes, they are slightly wider. 0.1 of a millimetre wider, these scales, than standard Victorinox Manager scales. So you're adding no bulk, basically. Kind of look thicker, don't they? But yeah, you've just seen me measure it, 0.1 of a millimetre thicker, yet adding a ton more versatility and utility to the knife. A couple of folks did as well ask about, because these are supplied without the pen and without the pen inserts, and a couple of folks were saying, well, wouldn't it be great if he could make the pen slider and supply that with the scales? And yes, that would be fantastic. And I did ask him, I sent him a message saying that a few people have asked, can you make these slider inserts? And he responded saying that the material he uses, this is PLA, and it's hard, rigid plastic, and I think he has tried to make some of these slider mechanisms, and he said that they're just not durable enough. These are two pen and slider insert mechanisms I bought from Etsy, and as you can see there, that needs to be flexible. The mechanism needs to be flexible to slide across over that little hump in the handle, in the scale there. So this material, the PLA that he uses to make these scales, isn't suitable. It's not flexible. So he said he didn't want to make things that weren't up to scratch and wouldn't function as they should. So yeah, he doesn't make the plastic slider inserts, but you can buy these from Etsy or eBay. I bought a couple of sets from a seller called UA Moon off of Etsy. I think they're also selling on eBay as well, and I think it was £8 for the pen and the slider mechanism, and I do think these are genuine Victorinox parts. They're certainly not 3D printed, and these are genuine pressurized pens as well. So yeah, your costs are adding up, aren't they? The price of the scales and the price of, unless you've already got an old Manager or a Midnight Manager or something, so your cost is adding up. But once you've made one of these, I think you've got a wonderful, absolutely wonderful pocket tool that could last you a lifetime if you look after it. And for me, it's a no-brainer. Well worth spending that few quid to get a super duper tool like this. So yeah, I hope that answers a few people's queries and everything. I absolutely love these scales. Absolutely fantastic. So I hope this video has been useful for someone. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you might consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Everyone says you should say that on your videos, so yeah, I've said it on there. Thanks very much. Adios, amigos and amigas.